So over the weekend, y'all had like this sheet of paper for homework. So I'll go ahead and just read it. Habitat change. A small, short-furred gray animal called a devo lives on an island. This island is the only place on Earth where devos live. The island habitat is warm and provides plenty of devos' only food, which is tree ants. The devos live in high treetops hidden from predators. One year, the habitat experienced a drastic change that lasted for most of the year. It became very cold and even snowed. All of the ants died. The trees lost their leaves, but plenty of seeds and dried leaves were on the ground. So it asks, like, circle any of the things you think happened to most of the devos living on the island after their habitat changed. So A was the devos' fur grew longer and thicker. B, the devos switched to eating seeds. C, the devos dug holes to live under the leaves or beneath rocks. D, the devos hibernated through the cold period until their habitat was warm again. Or E, the devos died. So I'd like to know what y'all answered and why.
I answered D and E, and I said I think this because animals can't like change through their during their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
They have to wait and like be born with a trait and then pass it on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same thing. I didn't think they would die off completely because I don't know, sort of hoping they probably just hibernated and just slept through the cold part. But I mean, other than that, all their whole food source died off, so they're going to die behind it. They can't change that quickly.
Okay. And last but not least, what did you say?
I agree with her, and then maybe they switched to eating seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's no completely right answer to this. However, the best answer is definitely E. So all of you guys were correct in the fact that all of the devos most likely died. So what went along with this is the whole like adaptation process you were talking about. It's understood as any type of change over a period of time. However, like you said, individuals don't adapt to drastic changes immediately in their environment. So most of them likely changed because they can't really change their physical characteristics in such a quick period of time or inherited behaviors. So that becomes adaptation through time, through what's the word I'm looking for? Reproduction. That's what it is. That's when the adaptations occurs through reproduction. So later on, individuals may have been reproduced and born with the variations to accommodate this drastic change, but most of them most likely died because the physical structures, physiology, and the behaviors they were that they were born with no longer fit this environment. So like I said, populations can adapt over time, but individuals don't change during their lifetimes. So a little more information about that. Okay, so what do y'all think the definition, give me a definition of what you think habitat change is.
Habitat change is just the changing of the environment, the habitat.
Yeah, it's just the change in local environment conditions which a particular organism lives. So what are ways a habitat can change? Can y'all give me some ways?
Like a forest can be cut down.
Disease.
Yeah, that'll change it.
Fire.
So do you think that it's most commonly, habitat change is most commonly because of, natural reasons or because of human reasons?
Both.
Both?
Part of both, because a hurricane could come.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe human. Maybe human more than natural.
Yeah. So habitat change can occur naturally through droughts, disease, fire, hurricanes, mudslides, volcanoes, earthquakes, slight increases or decreases in seasonal temperature, participation, etc., everything that y'all were saying. However, it's generally induced by human activities such as land use and change in physical modification of rivers or water withdrawal from rivers. People initiate habitat changes for a variety of purposes, like urbanization, agricultural development, manufacturing, recreation, or transportation, and stuff like that. So that's many of the reasons we see. And then And then, so what do y'all think, like, the scientific definition of adaptation is?
Gradual change over time.
To fit your environment.
And, like, the, like, I'm sorry. So it's an adaptive, like, a trait, like, with a current functional role in the life of an organism, and it's, like, maintained and evolved through natural selection, like, as I was saying, like, with the reproduction, obviously, like, it's inherited traits over time. It also refers to both the current state of being adapted and the dynamic evolutionary process that leads to adaptation. So, like, comparing and contrasting for adaptation that occurs, like, within, like, immediate responses into an environment versus, like, a long period of process. What do you think, like, the difference?
What was the question?
So, like, okay, for adaptation that occurs immediately within an environment. So, for example, like, say, like, a river got flooded. What do you think, like, immediate adaptations would be versus long period of time adaptations would be?
They would probably, like, move to a different river.
Yeah.
And then, but in, like, long term, they'll probably, like, not find a different water source.
Yeah. So it's like, for example, say there was a dramatic decrease in temperature in an environment. The immediate response for adaptation is just like survival of the fittest, obviously, that kind of thing. So the immediate response is for those animals in that environment that aren't used to this drastic, like, decrease in temperature is to find somewhere warm, like seek shelter warm, like maybe underground, maybe like in a cave, just finding somewhere warmer. Whereas, like, an over a period of time adaptation is like you'll see, like, longer fur within these animals as, like, you know, the species reproduces and grows on. It's like an inherited trait. Yeah.
7 minutes.
Oh.
I just heard this mention search on.
Oh, and then also, like, along with that, it's like over time the variations of organisms within a species, like, increases the likelihood that some members of the species will survive under, like, dramatic environmental conditions. I said conditions. Yeah, and then yeah. That's about all I have.
That's good.